just getting dressed. Should be here in a minute.
Well, you got his shoes on, so you should move.
I got his shoes on. Is that what you said? Is that what you said? The guy who wears a visor? The guy who still wears a visor.
Yeah.
A visor.
Rashid NC Wyatt is in the house. Huh?
I haven't seen those.
Oh, he's traveled, man. Always wears a. We went all the way to England. We've been to England. We've been to Paris. And he had to find somewhere we went recently, and he didn't have his visor. I thought he was going to lose it.
He
Like
in
Wow.
England. I don't remember you having one in England.
Yes, he did have a visor on.
Pictures. I'm gonna pull it up.
Yes. He had it on. Remember when we went to the Congo?
We sure did.
Rashid, I have pictures of Rashid with a visor. So talking about my loafers is not going to work. It's not going to work with them Ikes on. You need to find some Nikes. Get rid of them Ikes. You got Ikes. Hey everybody, welcome. As you can tell, it is going to be a poppin' show today. I've got a new author with me to start off the show. I'm going to be talking about the speed cams and everybody's question of, do I get any of my money back? We're going to be talking about that. We'll be talking about what they call the American Rescue Funds. We're going to talk about that. What is that? See, when you got a lot of people in the studio, they don't know how to act.
Oh man!
Now in our new studio, when we get our new studio to be big enough that it's gonna be
Nice.
It's gonna be nice. Sean, could you get the phone,
Please.
We're live. It's distracting. I tell Mark all the time. I can't take many things happening at one time, and maybe that's some mental health stuff. I told you every show I'm gonna talk about a little bit about mental health. So let me start off by this. My watch, this watch that I really am not thrilled. It tells you stuff, like making you do stuff you don't necessarily want to do.
Yeah.
But one of the things I'm trying to do, because it says breathe.
Yeah.
Now it will monitor your heart rate. I got a little upset about something the other day, and it was like, breathe. and you got to sit there and breathe. Now the watch is so smart, huh?
You actually do it?
I actually do it. So it says take a breath. Now not all the time. Sometimes I'm like, don't tell me what to do. You know my mother, you know my father, you don't tell me to breathe. Breathe.
That's your.
You're not the boss of me.
You're not the boss of me. So sometimes I will, but I'm telling you, it is calming. So I am trying to be more calm. I'm trying to be more calm.
A watch dictates.
I've got the chairman of you're not here as the chairman of the trustee board, but I'm just going to tell you all this. I don't know where you go to church. I pray you have. I have like terrific trustees and deacons.
Awesome. Yeah.
They are not yes people. They have their own mind, but they do the work.
Absolutely.
We have everybody from bankers to teachers to folks who work in other industries. Nobody needs the job in order to feel big. And I've been blessed to have the chairman of trustee board who is with us, but he's here on his own because you are now an author, number one, a billboard master, number two. If you see, I was in the Falls the other day, and I look up and I'm like, is that Rob? So, I know one billboard, but it's like billboard after billboard. You were is manager the right word when you left another organization?
Chief program officer.
You were chief program officer,
Yeah.
and left your job and didn't have a job.
And didn't have a job. It was nothing but faith. I was at like a critical point in my life where I was at the plateau. I actually just won like a national staff of the year for
Right.
Boys and Girls of America. And I was just like, something was missing that I just needed to change. I feel like I did not want to be like a CEO of a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I wanted the autonomy to kind of do what I needed to do.
Now, I don't know who leaves their jobs before they have a job. I don't know. I don't know who does that. I know they can't see on Facebook what just happened. But Mr. Visor just bumped into our equipment as he was crawling on the floor. Mark's daughter is about to lose.
Wow.
You trying to get Mrs. Pridgeon in? Yeah. Come on in. Don't bump into the TV. Look, everybody's just walking. It's one of those days. So you decided to leave the job. and you decided that you were going to go out, branch out on your own. Come on.
I was gonna use
Oh, nah. My wife don't have to wait. She gets, if Sean walked in front of it,
Why you keep
Rashid
saying my
crawled
name?
in front of it, she gets to walk through.
Say my name.
You go out, and what was the game plan?
So behind the scenes, I was studying to get my real estate license,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just trying to figure out my next steps. I know I was doing a lot of training before that, so I was doing training around the country, so I kind of knew where I wanted to go with that as far as program training and staff development and leadership. So I kind of knew that piece of it, and so I went with. Once I got my real estate license, I was like, okay, I want to do two, because one is real estate was. I learned a lot about the home ownership and the process, because it was my first time buying a house at that same time, and I wanted to learn that and then also explore my passion. So I just I knew I was being trapped. I was I needed to be that autonomy. I knew I had a lot of ideals and where I wanted to go, so I was
Yeah.
I gotta move.
So now, what puts food on the table?
Well, I do a lot of consultant work, and so part of that is I do the training and development for a lot of organizations around the country. And so these last 2-3 years, I was kind of behind the scenes doing a lot of freelance work. And so this year, I was actually during COVID, I had this aha moment where I just needed that passion back, what I wanted to do. And so real estate, I loved it, but it wasn't my passion. And so I kind of just seek God for his advice and instruction, and then I was like, okay, he kind of directed me in this life leadership coach. Now, I actually got my life coaching 2 years ago, so I did pretty much a 6-month course and getting my certificate, and I never really utilized it, and so it was just the perfect opportunity where I had time to really reflect on where I wanted to go, and so I had a business plan created. Got some, bank support on helping me with marketing and basically just redesign my business. And so that marketing that you see now, just I really had a strategic way how I wanted to do it. So rebranding myself, which is how the billboards came about, is what do you notice Rob Lowry as? He worked at Boys and Girls Club. He's kind of doing real estate, but now rebranding my whole kind of my life in a sense.
Do you feel free now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's for me, the essence of life is that all of these jobs I have, I don't have to do any of them. And I am okay. I always say this, I love pastoring True Bethel. I'm not gonna say I love pastoring, I love pastoring True Bethel. Big difference. I love what I do for the people through government, but I don't have to do them. And I think when you're at a point when you're as long as I can eat, as long as I eat, roof over my head, and cable, I tell people I need cable. I can't live without cable. You gotta give me Netflix. Then I'm good. And so that's where it seems like you're at in life at such a young age.
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole experience, God was just showing me things. Even with this, when we went through the pandemic at first, I was like, how am I gonna eat?
Yeah.
And so the funny thing is, 3 months later, business started, the Zoom and everything else, the virtual trainings, I was prepared, and I was I got actually more business during these last, I'll say 8 months with all the virtual trainings and so forth than I got before COVID. So which is just a blessing in disguise. And so it just got me the opportunity to have that freedom that I needed.
Tell me about the book. You have a book in your hand.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, I started actually working on this book, and so I had a 6-month plan that I was going to write this book, get it out there, and I guess God had a different direction for me. So I worked on it, and so kind of putting things aside, trying to run a business, and so I kept putting it back and going back. But this was really, I was going through this process of should I leave Boys and Girls Club? I've been here 15 years. I've worked with a lot of kids and families. And I had this, you sort of how you would feel at True Bethel, was just okay, this is so much, I got so much invested in this.
Right.
And I feel like it would be a disservice just to leave it there. And so this book kind of captured my take on overseeing programs from the federal level, from the state level on mentoring programs. And so it gave me kind of a hands-on, it pretty much just talks about my personal life as far as when I started writing this book. I went with the aspect of not believing I had mentors in my life. And so maybe that was the reason why I wanted to help other young people to be pretty much a support system to their lives. And so as I was writing this book, I was like, there was my fourth grade teacher who really took this quiet boy and said, hey, I want you to do this, I want you to do this. And so it kind of inspired me to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher for most of my life. And so when I went to college, I wanted to be a teacher. And then I had a guidance counselor in the 10th or 9th grade that said, I want you to go to this historical black college fair. And at the time I was making, having a 65 average and didn't have no desire to go to college. And that was the first time in my life where I was seeing people that looked like me, talking the talk and saying, hey, this is what we want to do in life. And so I remember going home that day, it's like, yo, this is for me. Yeah. So that kind of just opened up, pretty much my opportunities. And so as I started to reflect on that process, like I actually had informal mentors in my life that kind of poured into me. And then I started doing that as well. So one story I want to share is that when I started working at Boys and Girls Club, this young boy, I was working with him, he was first on my caseload. And he told me that he would carry a gun to the club. This is on Bailey in Genesee. He carried a gun to the club every day, hide it in the bush, and then he walked into the clubhouse. And so about 3 days, didn't show up to the club, and I was like kind of worried. I was like, I got so much stuff going on, let me stop by his house. And during that moment, he kind of shared with me is when his mother would get drunk at night, if he got in the house late, he basically was locking up the house the entire night. And so he would have to sleep on the back porch. And those nights he wasn't able to obviously go to school the next day. It kind of was a trickle down effect. He didn't eat and so forth. And so that moment kind of took a job into a passion. Like, this is why you need to be in it. It made me understand even when kids go to school, you just want them to pass the test. You want them to do what you want them to do. And they got so much that they're carrying on just to make it to school. You don't understand what they have to go through. And so it made me change my perspective on how I work with young people and even my staff. And so over the years, I was able to oversee 120 staff over at Boys and Girls Club. And so that just in itself and my passion to be able to work with kids, staff, and families is just a tremendous experience.
Yeah, what's tremendous is that supervising 120 people and then you walk out the door. That's what is amazing. So let me ask you this as we kind of wrap up. So people can get in touch with you for your business to do what? To do life coach?
Yeah, so I do transformation life coach. Really, I don't give you the cookie cutter stuff. It's really just digging in deeper of who you are, where you're trying to be, and giving you not just what you want to hear, but diving deeper inside what's keeping you from getting the life you're trying to get, getting you to the point of what you want out of your life, and giving you the answers within yourself. Me not giving you advice.
And people pay you.
Yes.
Seems like if they got the money to pay you, they already know where they at. But people pay you, and then you also deal with organizations, not for profits,
yes,
and for profits.
Yes.
In training staff
helping them with leadership development and also youth development.
So where can a person get in touch with you?
You can touch with me at www.rlexperience.com.
And so they go right to the website. Yeah. Information is on the website. Yes. Is that where they also get the book that is named?
Yep, Effective Mentoring, a comprehensive guide to being a better mentor. So they can get the book on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, or you can go to our website at rlexperience.com. I'm a horrible mentor. Let me tell you. You're a great mentor.
No. I'm like your teacher. I'm like the mentor in the background. Yeah. But I tend to, because a lot of people don't believe this, I'm very shy. Mm-hmm. So I do what I do for a living, as a living. This is what I do, this is what I enjoy. But Monique will tell you, when I'm done at the end of the day, I don't socialize a lot. Maybe just family, right? I've been around the same people all of my life as far as my adult, the people, Rashid, Janice, those type of folks. That's been basically it. So when I am asked to mentor, I'm very honest and say, I can have some conversations, but mentoring has to be consistent. Yeah. I think you'll agree, right? You can't jump in somebody's life and then jump out. So I'm honest in the beginning, like, I get a lot of people, can you talk to my son? Can you talk to my nephew? And I say, yeah, I can talk. but I'm not going to be the guy to follow up. And it's not because I don't want to, it's because inside, I really don't have those skills. I'm not called to do that. And I think that when people get into a mentoring relationship, they must be careful because they can do more harm than good, especially for young men who have been abandoned by fathers. And now they meet somebody, that father figure, and then you just kind of like pull back. And so I tend to just, I have a conversation, but we probably ain't getting together next week to go to Dairy Lake. Go ahead.
I want to share this for just two things. So consistency, I talk about that a lot in the book, is consistency is a key factor, which you mentioned. And then for you, I didn't talk about this in the book, but for you, I think informally, I mean, there's a lot of people who mentor informally.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came to True Bethel, to be very honest, you were the first African American male that I seen kind of being a leader, like in this capacity.
Yeah.
So I would watch, and I still do, I watch you and learn from you. And I think to me, it was like the opportunity of seeing someone who is out in the community, they're on the school board, they're doing things, they're just active. And you look at that and you kind of say, that's something that I want to do, and that inspires you. So I think, it doesn't have to be something like as far as a formal sit-down mentor, but when you pour into people, and that helps me even with my life, that if somebody's watching me move and navigate and gives me the kind of motivation that somebody needs to see someone that looks like me going into boardrooms with people who don't look like me.
Amen.
Like, it's just like that. And I appreciate you for being that advocate in this community and just really. I mean, I get tired watching you. I was like 3 services, 4 services.
I get tired of watching
this. I'm like, okay, trying to keep up with them. I'm like, okay.
Well, COVID has changed a lot. We'll talk about that another day, Brother Chairman. But I appreciate what you're doing. I mean, especially in mentoring other youth when you don't have a child of your own yet. But to reach out and to really be there, so important. The book, Effective Mentoring, obviously, I have read it because that's where the consistency probably. I was like, yeah, dude, you just knew. But I appreciate your words. Want you to go, give them the website one more time.
www.roexperience.com.
Rob Lowry, everybody. There's the book right in front of you. Rob, thank you for being here. Your assistant who was with you recorded everything. That means it's going to be on even a bigger platform. Thanks, Brett Chairman.
Thank you.